Hello Virgo, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the week ahead. Virgo, how are ya? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. My Earth cousins, let's find out what's going down for you. We're doing 9 card draws this week. Last week we did the oracles. This week we're doing just the 9 card draw. Let's find out what is going on for you, Virgo. Get all comfortable here. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me all about Virgo. Well, that's not a shocker. Virgo, can't tell me you're not always up in your head about something. We got the 8 of Swords. We've got the 6 of Swords. Oh, you're sort of in a place where you feel like your hands are tied. You know, like you got to move away from some sort of chaos of the mind. But it feels like you're having a hard time making a decision about when to go or if to go, or I feel like I don't have a choice, I have to go. We have the King of Cups. It feels like somebody is, yeah, you can see the way the king's being thrown around here, right? And the king stays stable no matter what chaos is going on around. So I feel like you've been enduring mental chaos, emotional chaos. There is a situation here that is just unsettling emotionally, and it might be due to someone not admitting something. When I see the King of Cups, they're keeping it tucked away inside. They're giving you the poker face and keeping their cards close to their chest. Somebody here is not telling you exactly what's going on, and I think that you're in a bind as to whether you should just exit the situation or whether you should hang around and help out, because you're the fixer, you are the person who's in service. We have the 4 of Wands here. So it does feel like it could be that there is, if this is with another human, with another person, it feels as though somebody's trying to make a decision whether to stay or go. The 4 of Wands for me is going to the next level. This could be soulmate energy, but it is stable, celebratory energy. But it does feel like you are trying to make a decision about whether I should go to the next level or not. Because I feel like if this is a relationship, somebody here is not giving you their opinion. They're not saying either way. They're probably giving you the poker face, not showing you any emotion about it. With all of these swords, right? The swords are telling me that somebody here is not really letting you see how they feel about the situation. There could be somebody here, just as a side, it feels like there could be somebody here who is trying to decide whether to sell the house or not. It feels like I feel like my hands are tied. Maybe the economy is got your hands tied and it's time for you to sell the house. It feels like somebody doesn't want to, and it is sort of a chaotic decision, but it feels like somebody knows that this is probably the best time to do it, but I'm not really sure if I want to. What's at the center? Heart of the matter is the 9 of Wands in the reverse. Either way, either scenario that I gave you, somebody here just is no longer wanting to be exhausted. I feel like you're burnt out. Either you're working too much or you're managing both sides of a relationship where somebody just will not give you anything on the surface. They're like stone-faced, dead cold. The thing is that the King of Cups is way far away from that. That is Scorpio, and the King of Cups is not somebody who's unfeeling. They feel so much that it's hard for them to release it out the top. That's the problem. But I feel like there's something here that's been exhausting you. It feels like you've been mentally exhausted, and you don't want to be exhausted anymore. You're trying to make some type of decision here. I think when it comes down to it, you are going to have to be the one that makes the bold move, because I think the other person is not giving you any indication of whether they want you to stay or whether they want you to go. So I feel like the independence of the Queen of Wands is saying, well, maybe I just need to make an independent analysis of the situation and do the best thing for me, because this other person isn't asking me to stay. They're not asking me to go. They're just indifferent about the whole situation. We do have the 3 of Wands. So I think what you're doing is looking into the future. Those of you who this is about the sale of a house, I think that the reason that you feel your hands are tied is because it probably has feelings attached to it. The King of Cups here, right? It feels like it has emotions attached to it. And it might be just hard to do. I do feel like you're struggling with moving into the future either way. The Three of Wands is here and is saying, look, you have all the knowledge at your fingertips. You have all the knowledge you need to make the right decision. The light is on, right? Person is holding a wand and the light is on. So I feel like somebody will be coming to a realization about something soon, that a decision has to be made, and it may have to be made without feelings. Because I feel like someone has pushed you into a corner here, Virgo, and they're forcing you to make a decision whereby they aren't really giving you an opinion, and so you're forced to make an independent assessment of the situation and possibly move forward into the future without them, because I think that whatever situation you're in right now is burning you out, friend. We've got the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, you need to get to a place which is less harsh on your energy, your emotions, your mind. It feels like this is a mind game. I don't think that the King of Cups is playing mind games. That's not what I'm saying. I'm thinking like for you, it feels like you're not usually on the fence because you've got all the data and you're like, I'm going to go with the facts. And so, but somebody here is like wishy-washy. And the King of Cups isn't wishy-washy, understand? They're very strategic, they're very planned, but the King of Cups possibly isn't giving you any indication on the surface about what they want. So I feel like you, my friend, are trying to get organized, are trying to find your balance, your stability, because I feel like it's time for you to get your finances disciplined, because I think that you're planning on moving away from a relationship, moving away from a house, selling the house. I feel like you're in indecision at this time. 5 Wands are here. But then we have 3 more, which is 8. I feel like you really just want to cut it loose and go, and then deal with whatever the fallout is later. Let's look at the 2 cards underneath the surface. We'll take those into the extended, but first let's find out what is going on under the surface that you haven't acknowledged or can't see. We've got the 4 of Swords. There's healing that needs to take place here. I feel like what you need to do is make a decision, get stability of the mind and make a decision. We have 6 and 4 is 10. I feel like something is hurting you. It's painful. It feels like you're hanging there, waiting for the king to show you like that they want you to go or they want you to stay. But I don't think you're getting anything. So I feel like you are going to have to make this unilateral decision here. We have the Star. I think that it feels like somebody here was possibly really hopeful that this whole situation would work itself out, that it would heal itself, that it would work itself out, and then we could move into our wish fulfillment stage of the relationship or of whatever this is, the sale of the house. That I think that you thought it would be much easier, but I feel that you're done with feeling hurt. You're done with feeling burnt out. It feels like this is a really big push into the future here because the Chariot is here, but I also feel that you've decided that you also have to discipline your feelings and that you're going with Swords, making this decision in Swords, because it does feel like the thing is as soon as you start thinking about moving on, maybe away from a relationship or selling the house, it's already in motion. You've already made the decision. You just haven't come to terms with it yet. So tell me about the 6 of Swords, please. We've got the Justice card here. We've got the 2 of Swords. And we've got the Ace of Wands. So, the 2 of Swords is somebody who's living in a block or is at a crossroads. I think that I'm going to say, Virgo, that you're not a person who just abandons people. You're a person who stays to the bitter end, right? And sees it through. And I feel like you are at a crossroads right now. You know that you have to take action. You know you would be justified in doing so, and that life would become a little bit more stable. It feels like somebody here, you can't avoid someone getting their karma. I'm just going to say, you cannot avoid someone getting their karma, but I think you're trying to You're trying to wake them up or say, hey, you're going to get karma. It feels like this this justice card here tells me that you feel justified by moving forward, but because you're at a crossroads. I feel like you've tried everything that you can try. 8 and 2 is 10 again, right? We've got 10s showing up twice. 6 and 4 is 10, and then 8 and 2 is 10. It feels like you really do have to release the situation. It's time for you to take action, and I feel like it's time for you. I feel like you've got a plan, or you've been devising a plan with the 2 wands here. It feels like you've been making a plan to take a bold move, like to step forward out of the situation. Tell me why the 4 of wands is here. You know, it feels like somebody here thought that this would be forever, that we were going to go to the next level. Maybe you've been living with someone for a while and you thought they were going to put a ring on it, and it's been 4 years, 5 years, and they haven't done that yet. Maybe 2 years, and you're wondering why. And when you ask about it, you get the stone face. Somebody here is not ready to deal with it, because Scorpio is a slow-moving energy, and when Scorpio will deal with it when they're ready to deal with it, and they won't be pressured to deal with it. We have the 4 of wands with the devil. Yeah, I feel like it feels like there is an asset here, and it feels like it's a home or a house or maybe a family that you've grown together, but there's no commitment. It feels like the devil energy is keeping you attached to the home because of the asset, because you also own the house, or because there could be children here. Tell me more. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. It does feel like financial asset, I'm going to say. It does feel like if you leave the situation right now, if this is a relationship, and if you leave the situation right now, it could impact you financially. So the 7 of wands is here. I've got to build a financial boundary. I've got to stand up for myself in terms of my stability and say, I own part of this house too. If we're not going to the next level and I'm about to make a bold move, we're going to have to put boundaries up based on the assets that we've created together. I feel like you are attached to the 4 of wands because you are connected to someone who owns it. You could be living with someone who owns it. Tell me about the Queen. We have the 7 of swords. You are keeping your bold move under the surface. You're keeping it concealed, but look, this person's got all these books. Someone's making a plan, doing their homework, figuring out what the next step is. But I feel like you're doing it behind closed doors. It feels like you are keeping it to yourself or keeping your plan concealed. I don't think that if this is a person you're living with, I think that they don't expect that you're going to make the bold move. They don't expect that you're going to go independently. They don't expect that anything is going on under the surface here. We've got the 7 of Cups. So you're making some decisions. It feels like this is, I feel like you're not without your options. That's the thing. And I'm not talking about relationship options. I'm talking about options as to whether you can afford to buy another house or move out on your own. It feels like you're leaving somewhere, or you're about to, but you're very cognizant of whatever finances, time, effort, energy you've put into this 4 of wands. We've got the Emperor in reverse. I don't really like when the Emperor is in reverse because it feels like somebody here feels out of control. I think the King of Cups might feel that they no longer have control over you. Or when you decide to make your big, bold move and move forward here independently, that's when the Emperor is going to realize that they're no longer in control of you. It feels like the 7 of Cups tells me that you are planning behind the scenes or underneath the surface to make sure that you have more than one option. But understand, I think that for some of you, this person is pointing to the 1 cup. I feel like you've already decided what you're going to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here in your Queen energy. I feel like you're a person who bounces back. You've been through this thing before. And I feel like you are tired of someone having control over your money, control over the house, or someone may have emotional control over you. Tell me about the Chariot. We've got the Page of Swords in the reverse. We've got the Hierophant. And the Ace of Pentacles. I feel like the the Page of Swords in the reverse next to the Hierophant is saying, I don't, pardon me, I don't have anywhere else that I can go for a resource that proves to me that I should stay in this commitment. Because the Page of Swords in the reverse is, I don't really know if there's anywhere else I can dig. I don't know where to go to find the information. And if somebody is got their feelings under the surface, the Chariot is Cancer, and Cancer always plays under the surface. If somebody here has got their feelings under the surface and they see this as a sort of discipline, I feel like it's time for you to stand your ground. Stand your ground, and the Ace of Pentacles is possibly a new beginning, building a new future. The 2 and the 1 is 3, building a new future. And I feel like the thing is I feel like you're in a commitment. You're in a contractual commitment. You own a house with somebody. Your name is on the mortgage, or maybe you're in a job, a workplace, and you've already committed to the job or committed to the workplace. You may have to buy yourself out of a contract, buy out this person's part of the house, or you might owe money if you renege on a contract through work. So it does feel like you have a big decision to make here, but I honestly think you've already made the decision, that things are already in motion, and that's this. It feels like you feel justified. It also feels like you are at the crossroads. You know you have to take action, but you're just not sure exactly how quickly to do that. The 6 of Swords is, I can't live in this inner chaos anymore, this mental chaos. I can't do that anymore. So I feel like you are looking into the future and how you can balance things, because I think you might be, if this is a person, there might be somebody in your life that you live with that maybe you own a piece of property with, or a house or a home, somebody you used to be in a celebratory stability with, ready to go to the next level, which means we're ready to get married, we're ready to have the next baby, or ready to have kids. And I feel like the only reason now you see yourself attached here is because of the financial asset. So we have the King of Wands. And so the King of Wands is also someone who's been through a lot and has a lot of wisdom. I feel like you two are mirroring each other. It almost feels like it's fire against fire. And when I see fire up against swords, you guys know that it's a forked tongue for me. Fire and swords, fire and swords. I feel like there's about to be a blowout. It feels like there's about to be a really big discussion, and I don't think anything is off the table. I think you're just going to say it. I think you're going to tell this person that you love them, but they're hurting you. The only reason you're staying here is because you don't want to release the situation, because you think this person is your soulmate, because the Queen and the King usually are mirroring each other, and this could be one of two things. You are my soulmate, and that's why I don't want to leave, or we are at an impasse. I'm not moving, and you're not moving, and we're mirroring each other. Somebody here is going to become an empress, or somebody here doesn't have any fear of taking care of business by themselves. I feel like you're probably a pretty brave empress, whether you're a man or a woman. The empress is Libra and Taurus. Whether you are a man or a woman, I feel like you know that you've got to make this decision if anything is going to move from here. But I think what you don't realize is that this may be hard right now, but I feel like hope and healing is just around the corner. We'll talk about that more in the ways that you feel burnt out, and when are you going to make that decision, because it feels like there's a lot of decision making stuff going on here, because your future is about to expand, and I don't think it includes the King of Cups, because this person is presenting to you as though they're unfeeling because they're not able to tell you about their feelings. If you want to come to the extended, please look in the pinned comment at the top of all of the comments. There is a link to the membership area if you'd like to join us there. I do extendeds there for all of the signs. If you're interested in a private reading, please know private readings are open. I am caught up. Now would be the best time to book if you didn't want to wait forever for your reading. And please look at the link to Hypsee. It'll show you all of my prices and packages if you're interested in that. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I am always back. Take care, Virgo. See you in the extended if that's where you are. If not, see you later. Bye.